How's it going, YouTube? My name is King Regalis, and you know what I feel like talking about today? Tenkaichi 4 and the expectations around it. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. As I'm sure literally everyone here knows, Tenkaichi 4 was announced like 6 months ago. It was all the way back in March. Everyone was hype. I know I saw the trailer. I know everybody here probably saw the trailer, and everybody collectively lost their minds. And once, the hype subsided from just the thing being announced, people started asking questions. How many characters are we looking at here? Are we looking at the same, if not more, as Tenkaichi 3? Is the gameplay gonna be, practically the same as Tenkaichi 3? And when the heck is this game coming out? Because judging from past games in the Dragon Ball Z franchise, we were looking at sooner rather than later sort of thing. Although now that 6 months has passed with no information, that no longer seems to be the case. Now, before we continue, I have to let you know that these are my personal expectations, just judging off the different patterns I've seen for game releases and specifically for the Dragon Ball Z series, because I've been playing all the way back since Budokai 1, so it's been a super long time of me playing these games as well as video games in general. And what really made me decide to make this video was just the internet at large. I like to go through Twitter and Reddit sometimes, and I see people's opinions on these things, and they're expecting sometimes outrageous stuff. They want hundreds of characters like the old Tenkaichi 3 game. They want, the super fast combat and all that good stuff. And I'm just want to say a lot of that just ain't gonna happen. Now, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is we are almost 100% not getting anywhere near the amount of characters we had in Tenkaichi 3. If I were to set my expectations, I would expect, maybe closer to what Xenoverse 2 had. Not not the largest roster in the world, but it isn't the most disappointing either. I just really don't expect us to get characters, like Frieza Soldier or one of Cooler's random soldiers or anything like that. I would personally expect maybe every major character all the way from the Saiyan Saga all the way till the end of Dragon Ball Super. Now, Dragon Ball characters like OG, I could definitely see them still being a thing, specifically Kid Goku, Master Roshi, that sort of thing. But I don't expect them to go full balls to the wall with it, giving us literally every character under the sun just for the sake of it. Like, for example, I don't expect to see Devilman and some of those other weird characters that, let's be honest here, no one really played in Tenkaichi 3. And if anything, I believe that those extra characters, or heck, they might even leave out the more hype characters just to make them DLC. DLC is the biggest thing these days, and they're going to capitalize on it. Heck, the only reason I believe that GT characters are going to be in the game is because, GT characters were shown in that teaser trailer a while back. Uh, but otherwise, I would have my doubts because they've skimped on GT before. A lot of times, actually. Speaking of that teaser, by the way, it's also a reason why I think they're going to stick at least somewhat closely to the original combat system of like Tenkaichi 3. Now, they'll definitely be making some changes to it, making it probably more smooth, uh, you know, more aligned to the new generation of doing things. But what I'm really hoping for is they keep that good old Dragon Ball Z feeling. And that's why Tenkaichi 3 is personally my favorite Dragon Ball game, because it feels like you're playing a Dragon Ball Z fight. Every time you hit someone, you feel the feedback, you go super fast, you're crashing through buildings. When you use a Kamehameha or something, there's a huge explosion, and sometimes they engulf the whole screen. And I just think that's super sick, and I want them to keep that hype. I don't want it to be like Xenoverse 2, where it's slower, it feels less like a Dragon Ball Z thing, you don't get as much feedback with every hit. That's just my personal preference. I know a lot of people love Xenoverse 2. I liked it for a long time, I played it for a long time. But at some point, I just want to go back to that good feeling, huge battles. And Xenoverse 2 just didn't provide that for me. But I truly believe Tenkaichi 4 will do it because they're trying to make it, as they're trying to make it as close to 3 as possible. At least that's what we can gauge from that teaser trailer. And to take the good with the bad, I'm sure everybody is feeling it. I know I am. That the wait for another trailer, even, or just to hear a hint of a release date, is excruciating. But that is somewhat a good thing. The fact that they're taking so long with this game. Usually, they announce the game, they release it within like 6 to 8 months, and that's that. But with Tenkaichi 4, they really seem to be taking their time, and while it sucks, I can appreciate the wait just because we're going to get a better game out of it. And I know once they release a full trailer, the world is going to lose their mind. Everybody's going to love it so long as, they keep it at least somewhat close to Tenkaichi 3 in terms of gameplay. Because that's what people are mostly here for. People talk about the characters all the time, but let's be honest, it's all about that gameplay. But that brings me to the thing people want to know most. When the heck are we going to be able to play this? Well, it's already September, so the chances of it releasing this year are almost non existent. Actually, no, scratch that. It is non existent. We may get a trailer either. What is it? We got that Dragon Ball panel in October, and then there's Jump Festa in December. I think a trailer could appear at either one of those, albeit I'd be kind of surprised because at this point it looks like they're making room for that new Naruto game, and then they're gonna try and push the Tenkaichi 4 game next year. Uh, but if it does come out next year, I think it won't be the end of the year. I'd be pretty surprised if they push it all the way back to like September or October like they usually release. I think we're looking at more of maybe March, about a year after the game announced. That seems like a better place for it. Long enough wait, and it would probably. I'd have to look this up, but I'm pretty sure it'd be the longest we've ever waited for a game if we had to wait, past March. But again, the longer the wait, the better the game is likely to be. Because you know how game development is, the more time they put into it, the more work gets done, and the better the product is supposed to be. Now, that isn't always the case, but a solid 90% of the time, or probably higher, I'm not doing the math, it probably is going to be better. Now, it's. I don't think it'd be too bad even if we had to wait a whole nother year as of September. Heck, I waited how many years for Kingdom Hearts 3? And I was super hyped for that. Words cannot describe how hyped I was for that. But Tenkaichi 4 absolutely trumps it, and I cannot wait. Honestly, the only thing I'm completely unsure about is going to be the game's story mode. I have no idea what they would probably do with it. I mean, we've seen a lot of different variations of the story mode. We've seen board games, we've seen flying through the world and leveling up your character. We've seen just picking the level and running through it, which is most likely the option that they're going to go with. But with the success of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, we might see something a little bit more intricate, which, of course, I'd be hoping for, but isn't very likely. Although it would explain that long development time rather than just the up in graphics and changing the gameplay system. But no matter what, I mean, it's gonna be interesting so long as they don't try something like, say, Raging Blast 2. Raging Blast 2 had a terrible quote unquote story mode because it wasn't really a story mode. So again, so long as Tenkaichi 4 sticks with at least a general story mode of going through each chapter and like just doing a fight or two, switching out characters while they talk, whatever, I think it'll be successful and I think the fans will love it. So, to sum everything up, keep your expectations in check. I wouldn't really expect an actual sequel. I think this is going to be more of a reboot. We're probably not going to see as many characters as Tenkaichi 3 had. They're probably gonna, give the combat some boosts, make it better, more aligned with today's times, and not to mention the graphics already from that teaser trailer are looking outrageous. And but again, we shouldn't expect something on par with like the Tenkaichi 4 mod that's been going around. Just that's why I made this video. I wanted to put this out there and kind of put some expectations because some people are getting way too hype and expecting way too much. But on that note, I've said my piece, and now it's time for you to give yours. You know how it is here on YouTube. Put your expectations and what you want below down in the comments. Like, subscribe, yada yada yada, if you want to see more of this stuff. And yeah, I think going from here, I'll probably do more of these tiny little videos. Maybe next I'll do some sort of review. I've been playing a lot of Yakuza 7 and stuff. Which brings me to my last point. If you have anything you want to see me play, talk about, whatever, just let me know and I'll take everything into consideration. Literally cannot do anything with this without support. So yeah, guys, thanks for listening to my little rambling talk, and see you all next time.